Hello everyone, my name is Mark, I'm your driver. Today we are going for a spin in this beautiful Genesis GV70. It's got the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 engine making 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. That is sent through a four-wheel drive system, or all-wheel drive system, that is rear biased, which is what I was meaning to say there, which means that the engine is longitudinally mounted instead of transverse, which should give this thing better handling than its front-wheel drive counterparts. I think it looks really quite spectacular in this blue color, and just wait until you see the interior. It's gorgeous as well. You just have this stunning blue flake throughout that is just glistening today. This is definitely the paint color to have in this car. The wheels, they're okay. They do have lots of sidewall on them, which is really nice because that's kind of what you want in a car like this. You want something that can cushion you from the road a little bit better than just rubber bands. And so as much as I would love to see more spokes or more of like an Alpina or Maybach style wheel on this, these I think are good enough. Let's jump inside and have a little look at the cabin. We have more blue, which I actually am kind of digging. It's this really nice kind of, not quite royal blue, but it's this nice kind of navy, and it's quilted just beautifully, and the stitching is nice. Everything is soft, everything is so solid. It's remarkable how well put together this car is. All the brand snobs are going to say, oh, it's not a Mercedes, it's not a BMW. I don't care. Like, this is one of the most, okay, that's maybe not, but aside from that very specific thing, this is probably one of the most solidly put together interiors I have felt in a long time. It's got metal on the knobs, it's got some physical climate controls, and it is just a beautiful place to be. You have stitching on the upper door, you have leather here, you've got, yes, some, well, actually not scratchy plastic, it's soft down there. You've got some soft, less squidgy material here, but everything has this nice soft finish on it. They've restrained themselves with the amount of gloss piano black that there is everywhere. So this interior, as nice as it looks now, is going to continue to look this nice because it's not going to get scratched by breathing. The places where you'd put your keys, your wallet, all of your bits and bobs that you really wouldn't want scuffing everything up, you don't put them anywhere that would scuff it up. So this is a great place to be. Check out the back seats. Inside the rear seats, doors open almost 90 degrees, so I figure it'd be pretty easy to get a child seat in and out of. Hopping in is nice and easy. You may have noticed I just kind of whacked my leg there. That is because I'm 8 feet tall. No, I'm 6'3", but in cars like this, it kind of feels like 8 feet. We've got some climate control back here, which is all nicely laid out. It's very intuitive, it's very simple. You've got USB power back here and a full household 120 volt grounded socket, which is really nice to see. Some map pockets, which are all right. Some controls for the passenger seat, which you don't see very often in North America. Good to see it. Nightmare if you have children. I'll leave it at that. And then in terms of overall space in the back seat, my feet can fit, albeit snugly, underneath the seat in front, which is nice because some EVs, there's no space under there. The seat is very low to the floor, which means you kind of end up sitting like you're in a bleacher, which leaves something to be desired for thigh support. So if I sit up tall, headroom is, well, my head is touching, but I can recline this seat. My head is no longer touching, but my knees are still very close. If I were to sit comfortably back here behind myself, I would maybe need to part my legs a little bit. Gross. Automatic windows is nice to see. Lock and unlock controls is nice. The door cards back here, this is soft leather feeling material. This is soft leather feeling material. This is kind of like a plastic, but again, it's kind of nice. It's nice feeling, and it's not glossy, so it's not going to scratch. And this carbon fiber weave is glossy, but looks very nice. Speaker grills are nice, door handles are nice. Everything has a nice weight to it, has a nice solidity to it. The turn stalks are a perfect example of this. I'll let you have a little listen to them. They are just the best. it feels like this bit here on the end is weighted. So when you go to flick it, oh, it's just so satisfying. Everything in here is very satisfying and tactile and works the way you'd expect, which is not always the case in some cars nowadays. And to say that it works how expected and doesn't fatigue or stress me out while driving is high praise. Let's go and get this thing on the road. Like almost all Kia, Hyundai, Genesis products, roll and highway driving assist is just fantastic. It's one of the most confidence-inspiring systems I think I've used, and from experience with the Palisade and everything, it is fantastic. It's really very nearly flawless. It doesn't ping-pong between lanes. It doesn't, you know, race up to the car in front and then stand on the brakes. It keeps an appropriate distance, and it's very, very smooth with its inputs, which is good because it makes it feel a lot more human and a lot less like a robot is, you know, controlling the car. So it's not herky-jerky. It's really like I'm just being driven, and that is really fantastic in a waft mobile such as this because it's just so quiet. Gets out of its own way pretty well. Kickdowns are good. I am trying to catch up with someone in a purple who is, I'll be honest, he's difficult to catch. And he's also calling me, so should maybe pick up the phone. There he is, though. Please get out of the left lane. Gah. When you're just kind of puttering around in traffic in comfort mode and you turn highway driving assist on, it does work off highways, just not quite as confidently. But if you are someone who's stuck in traffic or has a long commute or just doesn't want to be fatigued with stop and go traffic, this is a great system. It just takes all of just the little tiny inputs out of driving. So let's see how smooth we can. That was a little bit abrupt, but quite pleasant. Ooh. It doesn't quite know how to limo stop, so it does kind of rock back and forth because it's not, you know, easing off the brakes as the car comes to a full stop. As speeds pick up here on the highway, it is very quiet and so smooth. Oh my god. There are so little vibrations coming through here. It's very wafty. It is like being on a pillow. It's like sitting on a nice memory foam. Oh dearie me. Truck in the fast lane, sprinter in the middle, cannot get through. There we go. So let's maybe just do a little kick down test to see. Ooh, okay. It was very eager to give me those gears. Steering's all tightened up. Let's just let it relax a little bit, and then oof, it's quick. I still feel like it's holding the lane for me, which is very strange given that I've pushed every button to turn, yes I know, to turn cruise control off, but I think that's just regular lane keep, not adaptive cruise. I mean, it sounds good. Sounds nice and growly. It's very torquey and it lifts up. It's very cool. The gear changes are a bit harsh when you're flat out though. Under wide open throttle, there's a bit of gear shock from this transmission. And even when I'm just kind of cruising, I found that in comfort mode, sometimes going from kind of coasting to light on throttle in traffic, occasionally you just kind of get this slight clunk in the engagement of the transmission. When you're just going from off throttle to very light on throttle, it feels like it's kind of having to reconnect to something, which is a bit odd. But then again, it's not a ZF 8 HP, but then this is cheaper than a BMW. And as far as tech and interior goes, I'd have this. Genuinely. All right, we've got no one behind us. We've got an entrance ramp. Let's see what she'll do. Keep in mind, this is not a sports car. Ooh, a lot of safe understeer. But it moves though. Oh, and we're getting some downshifting under braking. See, that's kind of the geared shock that I was telling you about. So let's actually just get on the brakes here. That's perfect. There is no intervention needed with the paddles. It just... We're now approaching just a little bit of a corner, so again, I'm going to try to deactivate as much stuff as I can before pushing us into Sport Plus mode to see kind of what this is like around a bit of a bend. Yeah, just ignore that. So it's still soft. And the steering is, it's weighted up, but it hasn't got really any more direct. And it is, you know, direct enough, but it's not a sports car. It still feels like a luxury car that is now trying to hustle just a little bit more. But it's not a race car. All right, I think it's time to get our final thoughts on the GV70. It's really nice. I really like it. There's a few things here and there that maybe aren't quite up to par for, you know, the luxury class, or the German luxury class rather, but for the price, my God, is it ever close. And there are some things that absolutely give the Germans a run for their money, namely this interior space. The seats and stitching and colors and material choices are all so wonderful. And there's buttons. Things are where I left them. If I need my parking sensors, there's a button for it. If I need my parking cameras, there's a hard button for it. There are your favorites for, say, Apple CarPlay if you wanted to program that in. And it's also a touchscreen if you wanted to use it like that. But if not, you can just use your rotary wheel and be wherever you need to be in the software, because it's just left to right. It's very easy, and I'm very happy about that. The rest of this is a little bit piano gloss blacky, but I can deal with that because the buttons stay where they are, which is a big pet peeve with menu systems. And then you've got, obviously, your cup holder and everything, and I just love the attention to detail. Not everything has been shoved in a screen. Genesis is not on a mission to decontent and declutter the interior, and I think it's better for it. It's a more usable, more livable, more relaxing space than trying to use what is effectively an iPad while driving. I mean, the government says it's a recipe for disaster, the police say it's a recipe for disaster, but automakers, let's do it anyway. Anyways, this has been a very refreshing place to be. I love how it drives, I love the interior, and I love how it looks. It's got this kind of almost Porsche Macan type look from the back, and then from the front you've got this almost Bentley-ish type grille face look going on. It's just a really handsome luxury SUV, and especially in this paint color. So if you get the chance to test drive one, go for a drive, go for a spin, or even if you are thinking about purchasing maybe a two-row SUV, I would highly recommend this above pretty much almost anything else, if I'm being honest. Definitely cross-shop this guy against the Germans, and you won't regret it. I've never used a car with Smart Park. Yes, it had that gimmicky advertising, and ultimately is probably a bit of a gimmick, but it's just kind of cool. I've used it a couple times now and just stood kind of giggling at it. Was that an insect? Did something just fucking bite me? What was that? Ow, what the f?